Eyewitness News, the Northwest's most complete, comprehensive, and up-to-the-minute coverage. With meteorologist Dr. Walt Lyons, sportscaster Tom Ryder, and anchorman Ron Majors.
Good evening. A gunshot was fired in the vicinity of President Ford late this afternoon in San Francisco. It did not hit him. The president was not injured. There are conflicting reports coming in from San Francisco as to whether that gun was fired at the motorcade or directly at President Ford. In any event, the shooting came as the president left a downtown hotel and had started shaking hands with the crowd. As soon as the shot was heard, Secret Service men hustled Ford into his waiting limousine. Police have a suspect in custody and have cordoned off that area. Now, the reports are obviously still very sketchy. According to NBC News, a gun was recovered near the scene, and according to the Associated Press and United Press, there were several witnesses to the incident. That was the second incident involving President Ford today. Earlier, a young man was arrested on suspicion of threatening the president. Ronald Carlo of Mobile, Alabama, was stopped when he passed a note referring to a gun to a doorman at the hotel where President Ford spoke. But recapping the very latest, a shot definitely was fired in the vicinity of President Ford this afternoon in San Francisco. Police have one suspect in custody, the president not injured. In other news tonight that we'll be covering, the state Senate minority leader says Governor Anderson has overstepped his bounds in appointing special commissions. The Civil Liberties Union is challenging the age requirement for elected office seekers, and more budget hearings in Hennepin County today. Commissioners looked over the welfare budget and a request for more people. We'll have details. But at the top, hog prices at the South St. Paul stockyard set another record. The new high, $63.50 per hundredweight, and that's a price increase that's sure to be felt at the butcher shop. According to those in the meat trade, the big reason for the jump is the limited supply of hogs, and as Dennis Kraft reports, the end in rising pork prices does not appear to be near.
If you think the prices for bacon and center cups are expensive at $2 a pound, wait till you see them in your meat case for $2.30 or $2.40. That's where forecasters say the prices are going because they expect cash prices for live hogs to climb even further. Talk among meat traders is that cash prices for live hogs could go as high as 66 cents a pound, and some say it could even reach 70 cents and beyond. Today's record high of $63.50 is already nearly double what it was a year ago. The price is up because the supply is down. In Minnesota, hog production is down sharply. There are 1 million fewer hogs and pigs in the state than there were a year ago. And the outlook is for the decline to continue. That could push retail prices up even further. Pork prices already average nearly 40% more than they did a year ago. And some say retail prices will continue to rise along with live hog prices. There is a chance that by midwinter, wholesale prices could rise another 10% or more, causing an even bigger price bulge in such consumer favorites as bacon and center-cut pork chops. There is a chance, however, that the rise in hog prices will end soon. With more beef expected at lower prices and with more chicken available, demand for pork could go down. It should be pointed out that demand for pork continued even as prices climb. The best bet is that pork prices will continue to be high for another 6 months. That's how long it takes to get a pig to market after it's born. Dennis Kraft, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
Walt Lyons has been awarded the seal of approval for television weathercasting by the American Meteorological Society.
Let's start with today's diary. Back in 1961, a hurricane named Esther was moving up the East Coast. Then, as hurricanes like to do, it did something very weird. It made a big 4-day, 350-mile wide circle before finally going up and clobbering Cape Cod in Maine, which goes to prove that hurricanes are fickle creatures. And as we run down this warm front, we find Eloise. Remember Eloise last Friday? She was just a sort of a paltry parcel of puny wind puffs doing nothing heading towards the Yucatan Peninsula. She is now moving straight north. The satellite photograph that was taken earlier today shows Eloise a fairly well-developed storm. Right now her center is heading directly for New Orleans, but she is expected to curve slightly northeasterly tonight, heading right for the Mobile, Pensacola region of Florida. And there she is. Her current winds now are about 85 to 100 miles an hour, expected to intensify before she hits landfall sometime tomorrow morning. And it's not an extremely strong hurricane, as hurricanes go, but the thing that is beginning to concern us is the rain. It has already been raining over much of the southeastern U.S. They've had heavy rains continuously now for the last several days. New Bern, North Carolina, had over 4 inches this morning. The thing that worries me about the storm is not the wind, not the tides, 5 to 8 feet above normal, but the rain. And it reminds me very much of Hurricane Agnes. June 1972 saw Hurricane Agnes come out of the Gulf of Mexico very much the same way. It moved northwards. It went onshore right in the same region. It hit the northwestern portions of Florida and the Alabama coast, and it only had winds of about 85 miles an hour. But as it moved northwards, it caused torrential rains through the southern Appalachian Mountains and flooding, the worst ever. $1.5 billion worth of flooding from the southeast up through Virginia, even into New York State. Record floods occurred. And with this situation, they expect anywhere from 5 to 14 inches of rain from portions of Mississippi right up into Virginia. We will watch this very carefully. Around here, it's just cool. 29, for instance, this morning in North Platte. 30 this morning in Cedar Rapids. A little bit of cloud cover kept it a little bit less cool in Minnesota. And not much change in the next 24 hours. A very weak cold front will come sweeping down through the state tomorrow. Slight chance of showers. Temperatures really will be slightly warmer, but no big temperature change. The almanac today, well, it's kind of a boring day, I guess. We had a low last night, a little on the chilly side, 40 degrees. We got up to a 64 or a 5 below normal high for this afternoon. No precipitation today. And the weekend showers brought us up to 1.31 for the month. Sunrise this morning. Well, that came up at exactly 7. It goes down at 7:11 tonight. And this is the last full day of astronomical summer. Autumn begins tomorrow. The weather map, I guess, is sort of autumn-like. We have generally fair skies, temperatures in the 60s over most of Minnesota. A little bit of clouds and the rain shower activity in the northeast. There is a slight chance of some light shower activity zipping through the area tomorrow, but it's a pretty low-powered threat, and tomorrow overall should not be a particularly bad day. Somewhat like today, in fact. Right now, still 63 degrees or 17 Celsius, 50% is the humidity, 44 the dew point. Winds are west at 10, 30.06 and holding steady the barometer. It is sunny. Tonight will be mostly fair night, coolish, lows 40 in the outlying areas to 47 in the city. Very light west to northwest winds. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, but some sun. Widely scattered showers, particularly in the afternoon. No more than a 20% chance, which is pretty small change. The high tomorrow, about 67 with west to northwest winds, 8 to 14 miles an hour. So a
All right, now today was the day. The strike was put off because the owners said they would have definitely a new offer to make today. Right. And the players have how long to make up their mind? And whether
October 1 is when the vote comes in. But the word from the federal mediator, he thinks that the agreement can be reached within a week.
All right, let's see what's in it.
But anyway, this is kind of what I've figured out through the whole mess of things, I guess you can call it. The National Football League owners did come up with some new offers today, as promised last Friday, to head off a possible strike. Now, the new offer modifies the Rozelle rule, and I'll get into that a little bit later, increases minimum salaries for rookies and veterans, it boosts Super Bowl pay up to $31,500 for each player on the winner to $22,500 for the losers. It also increases playoff pay and pension benefits. Now, as for the Rozelle rule, the rule that, well, it binds players from moving from one team to another. That rule has been relaxed, at least in the offer. No player with at least 4 years' experience in the NFL can be traded without his approval. Also, after 4 years, a player need not have an option year tagged on to a new contract. He would simply become a free agent at the end of that contract. A 7-year player placed on waivers can declare himself as a free agent. The Players Association and federal mediator W.J. Usry will go over this document for at least 3 days in Chicago, and comments so far have been pretty good. What a way to spend a birthday. The Vikings' Brent McClanahan celebrated his 24th birthday yesterday, gaining 134 yards, running and catching passes. Here he gets a key touchdown against the 49ers, and Brent is our guest in the season's first Bud Grant show following this newscast at 6:30. The Minnesota Gophers did as they should have done. That's smother Western Michigan over the weekend. The Gophers came through it in good physical condition, and their quarterback, Tony Dungy, has been named the UPI Midwest Offensive Player of the Week. The Gophers are now preparing for Oregon's visit, and that'll be on Saturday at Memorial Stadium. The Big Ten surprise of the week, I think, would have to be Michigan being tied by Stanford. Michigan was an odds-on favorite in that game, and I got Cal Stahl's thoughts on that game.
Were you surprised to see Michigan tie at Stanford when they were an odds-on favorite to win?
Yes, very much so. I think that Stanford did the one thing that you that you have to do if you're ever going to beat Michigan, that's throw the ball real well. And they threw it 40 sometimes, as I recall, 43 or 44 times for just all kinds of yardage. Michigan's the most difficult team to run on I think I've seen for a long, long time. We've always said that Minnesota, gosh, if we can ever develop a passing attack, that'll be the only way we'll be able to move very well. I think Stanford proved that.
At age 25, Joanne Washam may be approaching stardom on the Ladies Pro Golf Tour. Last month, she won her first tour victory with the Pattyburg Championship in St. Paul at the Keller Golf Course, and she did it again yesterday in the Northwest. And here's a report from Doug.
Miss Washam started the day 3 strokes off the pace of Shelley Hamlin, but ran 3 birdies together, starting here on number 9. Going to the 16th, Miss Washam, Miss Hamlin, and Sandra Haney all were 4 under par for the tournament. Both Haney and Hamlin bogeyed the 16th. This is Sandra Haney. The eventual winner hit a remarkable recovery shot from the left rough to the right edge of the green on 16, and then got down in 2 to take the lead. She parred the final 2 holes to protect the 1-stroke margin and take first place money of $5,700. On 18, a par 5, she trapped her second shot, blasted out on the front edge of the green, and then took 2 putts for the par. Miss Haney finished second, 1 stroke back, and Miss Hamlin third at 217. It was the second tournament victory on the LPGA Tour for Joanne Washam. She won the Pattyburg Classic just a month previously. She is now in 11th place on the money list with just over $30,000.
In baseball, the Twins will be at Oakland tonight, and a win by the A's would give them the American League Western title. It will be Holtzman against Eddie Bain.
Tom, we've got some more in now from San Francisco. A San Francisco police lieutenant now says it was a woman who fired a shot today at President Ford. The San Francisco police officer says the woman has been identified as Sarah Moore, age about 40. He said she was standing about 35 or 40 feet away from the president. She produced a .38 caliber revolver and fired 1 shot, fortunately striking no one. That came just outside the St. Francis Hotel in San Francisco. The presidential motorcade literally raced to the airport, and the presidential jet was off the ground at San Francisco International. Less than 20 minutes after that shot rang out, President Ford was not injured. And that's the news to this hour on this Monday. We'll have more, obviously, at 10.